All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Today we're looking into the resurgence of Mpox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's I feel like a lot of people thought that was kind of over and done with.
Yeah.
But this is not the case, and we found this really interesting article from The Observer TV,
Okay.
which is a French language news source.
And they have some pretty alarming statistics coming out of the DRC.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's going to be our main focus for this deep dive today.
Okay, well, I'm ready to dive in.
All right, let's do it. So,
For anyone who maybe needs a little refresher, Mpox is a viral disease
right,
that causes
flu-like symptoms and a rash,
yeah.
and it can be pretty serious,
Yeah.
especially in certain cases.
But what's really got our attention is the huge surge in cases that are happening in the DRC.
It's like significantly more than anywhere else in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's really concerning. And the Observer TV,
they're reporting that there's been over 18,000 suspected cases of Mpox just this year in the DRC.
wow,
Yeah, and there have already been 629 deaths.
that's a lot of deaths.
I know, and really the saddest part about this is that children are
Really being hit the hardest?
It's 4 out of every 5 deaths
Oh, my gosh.
are children under 18.
That's awful.
It's really
It's really sad to see these numbers.
so what are people doing to help?
Well, there's a push for vaccines,
Okay.
and Unicef has actually issued what they're calling an emergency tender to try and get these vaccines secured.
Emergency tender.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds pretty serious.
It is, and it's really fascinating.
How many different organizations are working together?
Oh, okay.
You have UNICEF, obviously, but they're working with the World Health Organization.
Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and the Africa CDC.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a huge global effort to get these vaccines to the people that need them.
Okay, well, that is encouraging.
To hear that level of collaboration,
So what's the goal of this tender?
well, the immediate aim is to try and get 12 million doses secured by 2025. But then long term, they want to boost Mpox vaccine production.
That's smart.
Being prepared.
Yeah, because we've got to be prepared for these outbreaks that happen.
Absolutely. So speaking of preparedness, the report also mentioned that the WHO declared,
Their highest level of alert for this Mpox outbreak back in August.
yeah, that was August of this year.
Yeah. So why the heightened?
Well, a new variant has emerged,
Yeah.
and that always causes concern, right?
Yeah.
So this one's called 1B.
Oh, okay. So new variant.
On the scene, how does that, like...
I always think about the different types of viruses and how that might impact the vaccine.
Well, there are two main branches, or clades, as they call them,
Okay.
of the Mpox virus.
So you have clade 1,
Okay.
which is mostly found in Central Africa,
Gotcha.
and clade 2 that's more common in West Africa.
Okay.
But here's the thing,
Both subvariants
right?
of clade 1, so 1A, and the newer 1B, are circulating in the DRC right now.
So you've got all these different strains just all mixing together.
Exactly.
That's going to make things really challenging.
Yes, very challenging to contain.
Yeah, and what about the vaccines? Are those effective against?
Well, that's a big question.
The WHO recommends 3 vaccines, MVA-BN, LC16, and ACM2000.
Okay.
But MVA-BN and LC16 are still waiting on full pre-qualification.
From the WHO.
So it's like we're in this race against time
Yes.
where we have these vaccines that could potentially be so helpful,
Right.
but we don't actually know how effective they're going to be against these new variants.
And you also have to consider the logistics
Yes,
of getting the vaccines to the people in need.
especially in a place like the DRC.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like we're fighting on multiple fronts here.
Yes. And that's why this deep dive is so important.
Yeah.
Because it's bringing this to light.
And it brings up so many questions.
Like, even with, these global organizations working together,
What other obstacles are they going to face trying to control this,
especially for the children.
especially for the children?
Yeah, so it's a really complex situation.
And it's one that we need to keep paying attention to.
Absolutely.
It's easy to think that this is a problem of the past.
But it's very much still happening,
Yes.
and it's the most vulnerable among us.
We're really bearing the brunt of it.
It's sad.
It is really sad. And, we all need to stay informed and engaged and advocate for those who need help.
I agree.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive today.
But listeners, this is a story to keep following.
Stay curious out there.